Hi everyone, my name is Vince Gaum and thank you for being here with me today. So the world is increasingly falling apart and I invite you to see this as a blessing. It's a curse to the ego, but it's actually a blessing to the soul because we are in an initiation, a collective initiation, and all initiations are about moving us closer to spirit, closer to our heart, our soul. And there is no initiation, no true initiation, without letting go of control, falling apart to some degree, and feeling more deeply, moving into deeper places of the unknown, letting go of our ideas of what is so. So we are being initiated right now into letting go of control because increasingly the world is not making sense and it's becoming harder and harder to hang on to what was. And it is those souls, it is those people who have done the work of letting go of control who are most prepared for this collective initiation. It's those souls who have done enough healing work who are most prepared for what is to come, because healing is about letting go of control. Healing is about feeling more deeply. Healing is about learning to fall apart to some degree so we feel more grief, we feel more anger, we feel more shame. We say the things that we once could not say this lifetime or lifetimes ago. We can finally, in our healing journey, with enough safe support, we can finally say, stop it, leave me alone, get off of me, back off. We can finally fulfill the survival impulses that got blocked. Because one way to understand trauma is that it's an incomplete survival response. It's an incomplete survival response. It's a push that could not happen when someone was trying to abuse you. It's something that you wanted to scream, such as get off of me, that you just couldn't say because you didn't feel safe enough. It's something that needed and wanted to happen, a survival response, a fight or flight, some expression that could not happen because you were too terrified, you were unsafe, you were not held. And so when people go through their healing journey, what they do is they get to fulfill that survival response. They get to do it and they complete the circuit, so to speak. The body can finally push, the legs can finally run, the voice can finally say, leave me alone, back away, stop. It's a letting go of control. But we had everyone to hold on to control, to survive in this lifetime and lifetimes past. We had to hold on. It wasn't safe to let go. And we can go beyond this. We can just simply think about our childhood and how safe was it to express ourselves, to feel deeply, to be imaginative, to dream, to be silly, to move how we wanted to move, to be exuberant, to be wild, like nature. Is nature controlled? No. Nature is not controlled. Nature is wild. Nature is loose. It is let loose. And children want to be let loose, and that's why they love wild, open spaces. That's why they love being in nature, because Mother Nature is a mother to them, and Mother Nature says, be wild, run free, let loose, be your exuberant self, wild child. Wild and free, right? Free and wild, they go together. But how safe was it for you to be a wild child? Remember, we come into this world, when we're born, we come in wild. We come in unbridled. We are screaming. We are wet. We are wild. We are letting loose with our voice. We're not holding back. We're born wild. But then we are taught to control ourselves, or we choose to control ourselves consciously and unconsciously in order to feel safe. And then we go to the education system that wants to standardize us. And standardization is the complete opposite of what a unique fingerprint child needs. A child doesn't want to be standardized. A child wants to be expressed. A child wants to be expressed, to bring their unique soul gifts, their unique soul wisdom, their unique soul purpose, their unique soul expression into the world. Unique fingerprint that is unique to them. That's why the heart of education is actually a drawing out, not a putting in. Yes, we need to put in sometimes, but we forget to draw out because we see children as empty vessels needing to be filled, rather than vessels filled with love and light and wisdom and gifts longing to be expressed. And so we put children on hard seats, right-angled seats behind right-angled desks, looking at a right-angled chalkboard, learning linear, dry, boring curriculum. And meanwhile, the child looks out the right-angled window and sees everything that is not linear: the clouds, the birds, the grass, the trees. The child longs to be out there in that non-linear wild world because it mirrors and calls forth the non-linearity of our soul, which is wild and holy and true and real and raw, like life, like nature. But you see, this has been suppressed, hasn't it? For a long time, And so those people who have not done the healing work of letting go, of feeling their grief, because that's falling apart, isn't it? And becoming wild. When you feel your grief and you let go and you weep and you get messy and you get wet and you get snotty, that's becoming wild. That's letting go of control. Same with anger. Feeling your anger, feeling your outrage. And I'm not saying in a destructive way. I'm saying you feel it fully, but you do it in a responsible way. It's people who can do that. It's people who have done their healing work. It's people who have learned to let go of control, to express themselves, to sing and dance, to play. Those are the ones who are most prepared for what we are entering into now, which is a world which is increasingly falling apart. As we learn to fall apart inside, it's easier to be with a world falling apart. As we learn to let go of control inside, it's easier to not have to cling to an old, dying world. We don't have to cling to it. We can let it go because we've learned to let go inside. And so you might know I'm a healer. I'm an international healer. I do online healing and activation ceremonies every weekend, most weekends. So I know about healing. I was also a somatic therapist. I've thousands of hours of client time and about 20 years of my own healing work. I know what it takes, both as in my personal journey and as a professional. I know how much courage it takes. I know the level of vulnerability, that it demands from us. The willingness to step into the unknown, because when we let go of control, when we feel what has not been felt for a long time, when we say what hasn't been felt in a long time, what hasn't been able to be stated clearly, when we say those words, when we feel those feelings, we are entering the unknown. Because when we let go of control, we go into the uncharted. And so when you hear people in the world right now saying, oh my God, just bring back normal, that is people who are afraid to go into the unknown. That is people who are afraid to let go of control. That is people who have yet to learn how to let go of control, how to fall apart inside. I'm not saying every person, and I'm not saying it's all equal on all levels, and I'm careful with black and white. So I'm speaking generally here. But I feel this to be true. And so if people have a hard time falling apart, then what happens is that this growing dark storm right now is going to help them fall apart. See, if they can't let go inside of the old world order inside, then they're going to be supported to let go of the old world order inside, because the old world order outside that they've clung to and identified with is falling apart. And as it falls apart, and as their codependency with it begins to become less reliable, they begin to fall apart inside. So this is a very difficult initiation for people. They do not realize, so many people still do not realize what is happening. They don't see that this is an initiation into uncertainty. This is an initiation into deeper levels of feeling. This is an initiation into letting go of control. This is an initiation into our body, into our soma, into the holy temple of our feeling body and our soul. And so there is still a great number of people who just simply cannot take in the magnitude of what is happening right now, because they are still holding on very tightly inside. And so as they hold tightly inside, they hold tightly to what has been that is falling apart. And they convince themselves that, we're going back to normal. They convince themselves that it is what they think it is. No, we must right now have the courage. We must have the courage to see things as they are, not how we want them to be. We must have the courage to see things as they are, not how we want them to be. And that is spiritual maturity, everyone. And that's what these times demand. And so this is an initiation into seeing things as they are. This is an initiation into feeling the truth that is in our body. And as we feel the truth that is in our body, we can more easily see, hold space, take to heart the truth of what is occurring right now in our world. So thank you, everyone. I just wanted to share all that with you. And if you want support with your journey of healing and empowerment, I am leading online ceremonies, healing and activation ceremonies regularly. I got 2 more this weekend, and you're welcome to join. I'll put a link in the description. As always, share, like, click notifications, subscribe, all that stuff. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I will see you when I see you. Take care. Bye.